Welcome to City Homestead. Today is Homestead Tour. Come along. So, last night I was sitting out with the chickens and I was just keeping an eye on the mama and with her babies out here, and she wanted to go get into the big coop, and the babies had no idea where mama was going, and so I thought, well, maybe this will be a good time to separate mama hen from her babies so she can sleep with the big kids again, and then we can move our chicks that we had inside outside. So we have Pepper over here with our littles. Hi, Pepper! Are you surviving without your babies? Is everybody being nice? I know this morning Sapphire, she's that little buff one right there, was pulling at Pepper's hair because they always have to go through the pecking order. So Sapphire would peck at Pepper, and Pepper would peck at the chicks, the bigger chicks that are in here. Toffee, how you doing? Look at your hair. You got quite the dude. And we thought one of these silkies was a boy. We're keeping an eye on that situation. I am not sure if one of them is a boy or not. I am not seeing a comb yet, but we do have about 6 more weeks until we would see something like that. Hi, Zipper. How you doing? You put Zipper down. So everybody seems to be doing okay in here. In a couple weeks, we have all these little rooster dudes. We're going to move them out of here and put the roosters, except for Toffee. We're going to keep Toffee over here, I think. We're going to put all the rest of the rooster dudes in a different spot. So that's our bantam flock. And Mama Pepper seems to be doing okay. Get that gate. Okay, we got 3 eggs over here. Can you carefully put them in your bucket? They all lay in the same box. We got 5 boxes. They all lay in this one, or the end one. Is the end one empty? Okay. Very good. Yeah, right now we get about 3 eggs in here. Maybe eventually we'll get more. So now we're going to go over to our other chickens and show you, see if we can see the chicks. Sometimes they run and hide when we come, but we'll see what we can do. So everybody seems to be happy in the divided coop. We put a cover over the coop just to provide some more shade. It's not a permanent solution because if you can see up there, our tarp is shredding. So I gotta figure that out. So yeah, go check the bin down here. But this provides them lots of shade. Some cooler places to stay, huh? We've got some hay in there from when we filled the nesting boxes. My husband didn't like where I'd put the hay behind the house, so he's like, can you just put them in the runs? And so I'm like, fine. So we put them in there and the chickens love it. So over here, we have our inside babies. Yeah, Marin? Okay, just a minute. These guys hang out here, and then we have our other little babies that were raised out here, and they're around here somewhere. Where are our other babies, huh? So that's our Americana, our Russian Orlov, our little Russian Orlov girl. She's been having some really bad digestive pooping problems, and we moved her out last night, and her bottom looks so much better. And then that's our little olive egger. And these guys seem to do okay with the chickies. You guys are doing great. And then in there, we have our broody.
I have problems
And out of the 10 eggs we put underneath her, we think we've got about 8 that are good. We know that at least 8 are good. So we'll be candling her eggs in a couple of days. Maybe I'll try and get that on video. We'll see. Maybe I'll try and get that on video and see if we can show you candled eggs from broody hen.
Mommy, this is probably a zipper because it's so tiny.
Okay, so we want to check in here for eggs.
Yeah, I had a hard time opening both of the doors.
Yeah.
Ow!
Yeah, Pip and Luna like to lay in here.
No.
We just haven't.
Bye,
If you don't want your chickens to lay eggs in the coop, you have to train them. And we haven't really taken the time, a lot of time to train Pip and Luna not to lay their eggs in the coop because they're still coming out clean, and that's the important part, is that we just want the eggs to be clean. So in this run, we get about,
I know
are those just the fakies?
Yeah.
There aren't any real ones further in?
I know those are the fakies because I picked them up before and dropped them, and they wouldn't crack.
I know we do have 2 fake ones in there.
Okay, now can you help me open this one?
Yeah.
I have a hard time.
And then we do have chickens that like to lay in this coop too. Like I said, it's just a matter of taking the time to train the chickens to where the nesting boxes are. And we haven't taken time to do that. Yeah, there's one in there. Any others? No. This thing needs to be stirred up
We got 6 eggs
and some
today.
bedding added.
We got 6 eggs.
So we do kind of a deep bedding method. What we'll do is, for a month, we'll take 1 time a week, stir up the shavings that are in the coops, and that kind of helps keep things clean. And then, so we do that for 3 weeks out of the month. And then once a month we do a full clean out where we take it all out and then we put it in our garden. So today's egg collection, 6. We're getting 6 to 7. Do you like that? What is it? What you getting, Twinkie? Okay. In the front garden, we are starting to get sunflowers, and I'm loving it. And we're getting, our pumpkins are changing color, and I'll show you all of that. So here's our sunflowers. Here's our end ones. See, that one's getting close to blooming. And if you follow us on Instagram, then you've seen some of these. So here, another beautiful little sunflower. They look like they're painted. And these. So I'm loving this. I'm loving how these look on our front garden, in our front yard. Just makes everything look more homey. Hi, Marin. Okay. Over here are our pumpkins. If you look close, you see how that's looking yellowish? It's not dying. It's actually ripening. Justin, I need you to move out of the light, please. So this is ripening up. These are the sugar pie pumpkins, and they don't get very big, but I believe it'll be enough to make a pie. We've got some good tomatoes coming on. It has been really hot. I know some places they're getting tons of rain, which is just washing everything out.
That's just a weed.
Yeah, that's just a weed. Other places, things are going just fine. And here we are just dry. But look at all these Amish paste tomatoes. Very excited about that. And then we've got a couple more sugar pie pumpkins down here. And this one's really good. This one's kind of small. I don't know if it'll be worth anything, but that one's not changing yet. Looks really good. I have 0 fruit on these back plants So I'm about ready to call it on those and just let them go and not waste water on something that's not going to produce any fruit. What is it, chicken?
Hello.
That barred rock is getting her big girl voice.
Hello.
Okay. Over here, one morning I was out watering the plants, and the last few days I've seen lots of male flowers. A male flower doesn't have any kind of bulb on the bottom of it, but then on this little plant that has really struggled, I saw a female flower. So what I did is I just took my fingers, got into a male flower, took some of the pollen, put it in a female, and I am hoping that this is going to turn into a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. Because if it does, it's the only jack-o'-lantern pumpkin that we're going to get. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. Crossing my fingers that we'll end up with a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. Our daylilies are looking so good. They have grown lots of new leaves. I believe they're done flowering for the year. Our tree has grown. So the growth here is doing really good. So we've done some container gardens. You've seen that video a couple videos back. And we have them over here on this side of the house because we get less sun over here. Still gets a lot of sun, but we get less sun over here. So let me show you what we've got in these. So my daughter's gardens, they are dying. It's like too much sun. It's too hot. It's been so hot. So we're thinking we might call it quits on these and try again with I think lettuce and kale are the ones that are a little bit cold hardy. So trying some lettuce and kale again in these two bins. Our radishes, on the other hand, are looking fabulous. They are loving this. And look, I finally have some cilantro coming up here. So, radishes are doing great and our cilantro is starting to come up. Looks like I need to do a little water on that. So what I have learned this year is that you can be too dry and have too much sun on your plants. You know, there are some varieties of plants, they don't care. You know, your squashes, your pumpkins, your tomatoes, those things, they don't care how much sun they get. Things like herbs, you need less sun, and so I'm going to have to continue exploring my yard to decide where the best place to put an herb garden is going to be. Because they really can't have as much sun as they're getting up here. What else have I learned? I have learned that I don't necessarily like tomatoes in containers, but this year it wasn't necessarily a bad thing either. But I believe my tomatoes will do just fine out there in the garden. I'm really excited. I caught my neighbor mowing his lawn, was able to get his grass clippings. You probably saw that in earlier in the video. I had him put his grass clippings out on our garden, so we'll be starting to do compost along the front. We'll let that go all the winter and into the spring until we can plant our tomatoes and squashes and pumpkins out in the front. And so I'm really excited about that, to have that build up. I would love to be able to put the chickens out on that garden, and so I might see if I can find a way to do that. We'll see. I have discovered, what else have I learned? I've learned that I am totally addicted to baby animals, baby chicks especially, and I'm hoping that we can sell some of our baby chicks as we get going here, because we have too many chickens. And I want to get it so that we're managing them really well, and and that they're all happy and healthy, and that we're getting the eggs that we need and want, which is coming really quick. We have several chickens. I think we have about 6 or 7 chickens that are coming into laying age in the next month to 2 months. In fact, within 2 months, I think we're looking at maybe a dozen chickens that are coming into laying. So we'll start getting like a dozen eggs a day, which means that we can start selling eggs. And so I've got to figure out how we're going to do that and where we're going to do that, and work out the plan for that so that we can start making a little bit of money with our chickens so that they're paying for themselves. I got a friend back here photobombing me. Hey, Sunny! How you doing? Sunny! Hey, beautiful rooster. I have also learned that it's fun to do the gardening and planting and chickening with my children, but there are days that it's a really peaceful time for me as well, to be able to just go out maybe first thing in the morning and water the plants, to sit down with my chickens, or to do all the feeding of my chickens first thing in the morning like we do, and just do it by myself and give the kids a break. As we build things up, we'll have more projects, and I'm hoping to get them involved in a lot of these little projects. You know, if I'm gonna have a bigger garden next year, I definitely have to get like a drip system into my garden area, because hand watering a few plants every day isn't a big deal. Hand watering a whole garden every day or every few days is a large garden is gonna be a lot of work, more work than I think I want to do. And there are so many ways that you can do it, so it's a lot easier. So I'm going to be working out a plan for that. I do have butterfly bushes that are in the mail right now. They should be on their way, and so hopefully by next homestead tour we'll have our butterfly bushes planted up in the rock garden in the top terrace. And I honestly am really thrilled about that, because this year we just did not have very many pollinators. That's why I have so few pumpkins. We just don't have the flowers or the plants here in the neighborhood that are bringing in those pollinators to pollinate my plants. And so, I'm gonna get those pollinator plants in there so that we can have hummingbirds, so that we can have bees, and all the bugs and things that come in to pollinate the plants. I also have plants that are low water plants that I'm gonna put in that will help deter things like rabbits and deer, because we do have deer around here, and I haven't had to deal with a lot of them, though. In an earlier video I did talk about how deer ate some of the bottom branches of our tree in the spring, so it is a possibility to have them come and eat the garden, so we got to keep an eye on that. So lots of things that I'm learning, and I'm hoping that as I share these things and share our solutions for the things that I'm learning about, that they will help you in your garden, and that you will come back and find out how we solve our problems with our garden and the chickens and everything that we need to do. And I do promise we will get to the chicken moat garden. It's been so hot that we have not even wanted to be outside, and we need to paint our coops, and that's the next project, is to get my coop painted and get the trim on it, and then to get the inner garden fence up and start working on garden beds for next spring and summer, when we want to plant everything in the garden beds. So thank you for joining us. Stick with us. We do have lots of fun things going on. It's just it's taking me a while to get some stuff done. The heat really drains me. So here we go. On with more adventures for the fall. And we hope you join us again. Bye-bye. There they are. There's our little raised outside chicks. They miss their mama, but they seem to do okay.
Where?
Over in the bantam coop. And they seem to be doing okay with these guys too. How we doing, babies? Yeah, we put Ellie out here too, and her bum looks so much better. You guys are so cute. You guys are so cute.